Hello, Toodle Noodles. So this is our last video of the school year, and we have done so much together and had so much fun. We have talked about our skeletal system, our respiratory system that you use to breathe, your circulatory system that pumps the blood through your body, your digestive system that you use to eat, and last but not least, we are going to talk about your muscular system today. And I have the muscles in your arms right here. Can you make a muscle with me? Make your muscles. Feel those muscles. I brought my friend the tiger. Grrr. And today we are going to be mathematicians. What is that big long word? That's just people who do math. And you can do math too. So that makes you a mathematician. Pretty cool, right? We're going to talk about my favorite kind of math, which is geometry. And geometry is just the math of shapes. You want to sound super smart? When you are naming your shapes, you are doing geometry. We'll talk about angles and a shape called the triangle. Have you heard of that one? I bet you have. And we'll talk about some 3D shapes like cones and spheres. And we'll talk about some 2D shapes like stars and circles and you know your shapes, right? Squares, rectangles. Those are just 2D shapes. We've already talked about vertical and horizontal and perpendicular lines, so that's going to be easy peasy for you. We've already talked about height. We're going to talk about length. And we are going to learn my favorite big word of the week, quadrilateral. Can you say that word with me? Quadrilateral. It just means a shape that has 4 sides. You know some shapes that have 4 sides, right? Rectangles and squares have 4 sides. So if you want to sound super duper smart, you can just call those quadrilaterals. Pretty cool. All right, let's get into it. Okay, mathematicians, who is ready to talk about geometry? Geometry is just the math of shapes. To make shapes, you need points, which is just a spot. You need lines, which are just the way you connect 2 spots, the way you connect points. You can have parallel lines that never meet. You can have perpendicular lines that meet like this. You can have intersecting lines that do meet. They just cross. Okay, using those kind of lines and points, where they cross, that's the point. You can make different kinds of shapes. And you can also, with lines, make angles. Angles are just how lines meet. So, when 2 lines meet, they can make a little angle. That's acute. It's so little, it's cute. Acute. A right angle, which is perpendicular. Or a big wide angle. That's obtuse. Okay? We usually identify shapes by the number of angles it has. A triangle has 1, 2, 3 angles. Or by the number of sides it has. So earlier we talked about quadrilateral, Remember, quadrilateral? It's a nice big long word. That means 4 quad sides. There are a whole lot of shapes that have 4 sides. You can have a trapezoid where the lines meet like this. You can have a rhombus that has 4 equal sides. And we know a rhombus already that has 4 equal sides. When they meet at a right angle, where the lines are perpendicular, you get a square. You knew that one. A parallelogram is where the sides are parallel, which means they never meet. A square is also a parallelogram. A rhombus is also a parallelogram. And a rectangle is a parallelogram. Those sides will never meet. They could just keep going and going forever, and they will never intersect, right? Rectangles and squares are special quadrilaterals because the lines are perpendicular. That means you could draw a little square in there. So for an acute angle, I would draw a little arc. For an obtuse angle, I would draw a big arc. For a right angle, I can draw a square and it will fit right perfectly in there. If I did it here, it would be too small. If I did it here, it would be too big. Other shapes we know are ovals, which is just a circle that's squished. Diamonds. Oh, wait a minute. How many sides does that diamond have? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a quadrilateral. We know stars and crescents. Those are all 2D shapes. 2D shapes are flat. You could draw them on a piece of paper. Then we have 3D shapes, which are fat. Fat shapes like take a circle, make it fat. It's a sphere. Or if you have a circle on top and a circle on the bottom and it goes all around, it's a cylinder. You can find lots of cylinders in your house. As a matter of fact, I hope you go around your house today playing I Spy and finding all of the shapes. If you take a rectangle and make it fat so it has a rectangle on every side, it's called a rectangular prism. We know about ice cream cones, right? Cones are 3D shapes. We know about ice cubes. Cubes have squares on all the sides, and that makes it a cube. You can, when you have these shapes, you can figure out how many steps it takes to go around the outside is the perimeter, or how many units are on the inside. That's the area. So look at this square. If I have these 4 squares in the middle and I go around the outside, each one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The perimeter of that square is 8. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 squares in it. The area is 4. All right. Other shapes that we can look at and tell by the number of sides. Remember, we're breaking down those big words. We've got pentagon has 5 sides. Hexagon has 6 sides. And a stop sign is an octagon. That has 8 sides. When you draw shapes, you can look at them to see if they have symmetry. You draw a line right down the middle and see if it's the same on both sides. It is symmetrical. So, An oval can be symmetrical depending on how you cut it. A circle will always be symmetrical no matter how you cut it. Triangle can be symmetrical depending on how you cut it. And a square can be symmetrical, right? It just means you cut it in half, and if it's the same, well, you have to draw your line right. If it's the same on both sides, it has symmetry. All right. Got it? Let's do a project. Hey yo, let's play with Play-Doh. I thought we could try to make some 3D shapes. I just have this cheapo clay. This is what I have at home, but if you have nice soft Play-Doh, it'll probably be easier. See, mine, this one is already a cylinder. It has a circle around the top, circle on the bottom, and it's smooth along the sides. I've already got a cylinder. Let's see. Let's try to make a sphere. Remember, a sphere is just a ball. If you just roll it up like this, we made a sphere. Look at that. Now, so I've got my cylinder, I've got my sphere, it's a ball, it rolls. Let's try to make a cube. Let's see. We want it to be square on every side. So I'm going to squish it in on every side. It's not looking very straight. There. It's kind of a cube. Square on every side. There we go. How about a rectangular prism? So that is going to be a rectangle on every side. Remember, we said a square is a rectangle. So if one of your sides looks kind of square, flatten. This just wants to look like a cylinder. Now, there, rectangular prism. It doesn't have to be perfect. Play-Doh's kind of fiddly. If you have some tools, like a plastic knife, you could probably get your lines a lot straighter than mine. Let's look at those compared to the shapes they come from. So, you guys know, I love my graph paper because it's like math and art put together. Alright, so we've got a rectangle. Remember, it meets at a right angle, and the sides are different lengths. This is the height. This is how tall it is. And the length is how long it is. So on mine, because I used graph paper, I can say that mine is 2 squares high and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares long. And remember we talked about the perimeter where you could just go around the side. So I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. My perimeter is 16. And if I count all the squares on the inside, let me use a different color to make that clear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. My area, or all the squares on the inside, is 12. Right? So, if I make that rectangle fat, I get a rectangular prism. A square has 4 sides that are equal and meet at that right angle, remember? So, if this side is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. My perimeter is 12. And my area is the number of squares on the inside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. My area is 9. And if I take that square and make it fat, I get a cube. A circle has no angles, right? The square had 4 angles, 1, 2, 3, 4, where the lines meet, right? And the rectangle has 1, 2, 3, 4 angles and 4 sides. A circle has 0 sides and 0 angles. If I take that circle and make it fat, I get a sphere. Or if I just make it tall, like if I take 1 circle for the bottom and 1 circle for the top and connect them, I get a cylinder. A marker is a cylinder. It has a circle on the bottom, circle on the top, and it's smooth all around. Pretty cool. All right, so for your homework, I would like you to play with Play-Doh too. Draw some shapes and see if you can make them fat and make them into 3D shapes. The ones you draw on your paper are 2D shapes. 2D shapes are flat. And 3D shapes are fat. Okay guys, I hope that was fun for you. Have fun going around your house and trying to find some shapes. See if you can find some 3D shapes. And see if you can draw some shapes on paper that are 2D flat. And take some Play-Doh and make them 3D fat. Hi CCBC friends. So this is our last video of the school year. I hope that you've enjoyed them. I've had fun making them. And if anybody wants me to do any private Zoom tutoring, or if you want to sponsor a video, you can contact me at my CCBC email, and I would be happy to do it. I was going to travel, and now I'm not, and I'm not working summer camp, so I have nothing but time, and I have all the equipment. So if that's something you'd be interested in, just let me know. Otherwise, I love you all, and I hope you have a wonderful summer. Bye. Okay, my friends, let's wrap this up, because we did a lot of work today being mathematicians. We talked about geometry, which is the math of shapes. We talked about quadrilaterals, which are shapes with 4 sides. Uh-oh, somebody is trying to climb on my computer. He's trying to climb on my computer while I'm trying to talk to you. I think he wanted to say hi. Say hi, Buster. Okay. Stay off my computer, buddy. Stay off of my... Come on, go, go, go. Silly kitty. Silly kitty. We talked about vertical and horizontal lines again, and perpendicular lines that meet at right angles. We talked about all kinds of angles. We talked about acute, little teeny tiny acute angles, and obtuse angles that are wide. We talked about length and height, and we talked about some 3D shapes like spheres and cones and cubes, which are squares on all sides, right? We talked about some 2D shapes, which are flat, like stars and crescents and ovals, and triangles. Try for 3. Angle. We talked about lines and points, and I brought my friend the tiger. Look at him. Isn't he beautiful? Did you know that no 2 tigers have the same stripes? And they are the largest cats in the world. And they only eat meat. They're carnivores. Carnivores only eat meat. And they swim. My kitties do not like water. But tigers love to swim. They love water. And we introduced your muscular system. Make a muscle. Big muscles. And I showed you the muscles inside your arms. So when you make a muscle, those are the muscles that you're flexing. And I thought, since this is our last video for a while, unless you have your parents contact me, they can comment on the video or send me an email or call me. I'm in the school directory, and they want me to do more. They can sponsor some, since I'm not working summer camp, or I can do like Zoom tutoring. I'll be around. But assuming this is our last one, this is one of my favorite books, and it's called I Ain't Gonna Paint No More. Ain't a word, guys, but the song is funny. I Ain't Gonna Paint No More by Karen Beaumont, illustrated by David Catrow. One day my mama caught me painting pictures on the floor and the ceiling and the walls and the curtains and the door, and I heard my mama holler like I never did before. Ya ain't a-gonna paint no more. I ain't gonna paint no more, I ain't gonna paint no more. That's what I say, but there ain't no way that I ain't gonna paint no more. So I take some red and I paint my head. Now I ain't gonna paint no more. Oh, what the heck, gonna paint my neck. Now I ain't gonna paint no more. Still I just can't rest till I paint my chest. Now I ain't gonna paint no more. Guess there ain't no harm if I paint my arm. Now I ain't gonna paint no more. I ain't gonna paint no more, no more. I ain't gonna paint no more. But I just can't stand not to paint my hand. Now I ain't gonna paint no more. Then I see some black, so I paint my back. Now I ain't gonna paint no more. Like an Easter egg, gonna paint my leg. Now I ain't gonna paint no more. Still I ain't complete till I paint my feet. Now I ain't gonna paint no more. I ain't gonna paint no more, no more. I ain't gonna paint no more. But I'm such a nut, gonna paint my... What? Oh. Uh-oh. Y'all don't faint, because there ain't no paint. So I ain't gonna paint no more. I like that one. I know some of you like that one too. I will miss you guys, and I love you, and I hope that you have a wonderful summer. Bye.